And I'm kind of hoping to strike up a little bit of a conversation here with what the whole concept and what we're trying to accomplish is. We've got a map of Smith Mine here on the wall to kind of make it relevant. Earlier this morning we showed you the portal booster station, and about a mile underground we stopped off right here at the number 2 well, and you saw them installing the new pump down in the number 2 well. Then we continued on out, and in this neighborhood is where we're currently drilling the new Zone 4 well, or well number 3. Zone 2 has very good prospects below the water table. It's a very high ounce deposit, but it was heavily mined below the water table before we came onto the property. So we have to gain a lot more elevation in the water before we can get down to those reserves that exist in Zone 2. Zone 4 has a very, very large ore body existing in it. But the benefit of Zone 4 is that it was explored a little bit later. They didn't make as much progress on dewatering it in the past. And Zone 4 actually has quite a few ounces relatively shallow to the surface. So as a result, with the new well, Zone 4 is going to be the focus for dewatering for Smith Mine, and we'll follow in behind that with Zone 2. With the additional infrastructure of the dewatering system, and if we have some more capacity, we'll actually be able to pump from various zones and areas. Once it's dewatered, you're not going to have as high of an inflow towards the end of it just to maintain it. Quite a bit of flow to get there, and then it'll lessen up to maintain it. So we'll take that additional capacity and place wells elsewhere in the mine, say zones 3 or even zones 1, to get them dewatered, to open up headings in those areas and pull some of the underwater resources out of those. Do you have anything to add to that, Gordon?
No, well, in the areas that are mining, it was intensely drilled, and as John might have mentioned previously, quite a few of the holes ended in ore. But since that time, very little drilling has been done below the water table in the other zones, just because there was no point. Why spend the money for something that we weren't able to get to? So we believe there's a lot of potential, especially up in, let alone zones 1 and 3 that John mentioned, but especially up in zone 8. We stopped chasing ore. We went below the water table with pumps in the heading on the 6600 level, around that corner there. But the ore kept going down, and so there's no question there's a lot more resources to be found below the water table as we drop it and we open up new areas.
Exactly.
And the advantage this time is it's all been seriously engineered, from the hydrology studies through the dewatering plant initially and the approach on the dewatering itself. It's John has done a good job designing where the wells go, and with our help from the project managers here before, then we've got everything spec'd out. So there's no question we're gonna be able to sustain it in a systematic approach.
For a majority in the future here, for a majority of the mining in Smith, we could be mining below the water table in most all these zones. And then we'd be exploring, once we get down to those elevations, and like Gordon said, we'd be expanding our exploration efforts even below what we know we have today. So it could be that the wells that we have today are just the first phase of the dewatering, and then down the road it could be that we're going to have to go much deeper than we're currently looking at right now.
Well, we know out here in zone 9, we've got significant resources, but they actually start 200 feet below the bottom of the pit and go to 400 feet. So it's there, we just have to keep following it.